Behind the scenes, it's a little testy already, but we plan to resolve any conflicts in the next hour. We'll get it started in the next 20 seconds. So, Raj, how you feeling tonight?
Doing pretty good on this fantastically splendid Tuesday evening. Family's here, kids are doing good. I think I know why you are smiling right now. Herb and I went head to head. I'm sorry, this week in fantasy football, and Herb won by like 2.5 points or something.
Did you enjoy that Monday Night Football game?
I did not. There was a point in the game when Herb was winning most of the game, but then after the second half, when his players, he had Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. They hadn't really been performing that well, and then somewhere in the second half, Josh Jacobs.
Oh, back up. So what? Sunday night we're in a tight battle, right. But I'm like, okay, I got a good chance at this, and then all of a sudden, Kittle for San Francisco,
3 touchdowns,
and I'm like.
And that was perfect. Everything was going my way. I was like, I might pull this one off.
Yeah. So you were actually leading.
Yes.
Most of the night on Monday.
I was leading through the first half. I was leading by a few points, and then
talking a little trash.
I was because I was so optimistic about winning, but I was wrong. Herb pulled out the victory. I am now. Let's check the standings right quick while we're on it. I'm gonna check the standings just to make sure. I am currently in. Out of 10 teams, I'm 8 out of 10.
Thank you for the congratulations.
Oh yeah, whatever. Hey, Lady Alpha, how you doing? I'm 8 out of 10, and Herb's 3rd out of 10. So
yeah,
I got an uphill battle.
The best part about it was Rodg had the Raiders kicker, didn't even know it.
I didn't even realize I had their kicker, but he missed a field goal. I think he missed 2 field goals. Yeah, and that just killed me. So
yeah,
anyway.
If he makes either one of those, you win. So yeah. Epic victory. Rodg is claiming the league is rigged.
Well, I know it's not now because my week 6 matchup, my opponent has Justin Jefferson, we'll talk about probably in a second. Jahmyr Gibbs, who's also questionable, and Kincaid, the Buffalo's tight end. So they got 3 questionables, and one obviously not playing, but I should win next week. But I lost Herb, so oh well.
Howdy Bessie's coming to. I am absolutely.
What's going on, Hoda? We will be there. We will be there at the Super Bowl party for the Dolphins and the Eagles. Is that it? I'm just playing. Hey, the Lions are looking good this year, man. Lions are looking pretty good.
Yep. I will be there for the Dolphins versus the Lions Super Bowl party.
Gotcha.
And then great place to start. Brian.
Oh yeah. Red River Brian is flying high. Shout out to Brian. What's going on, man? We appreciate you for tuning in. Flying high off Saturday's win. Big win over Texas. It was a good from what I saw, and the reason I'm saying is because I was not at home watching the game. I had to watch some of it on my phone. I had to run some errands and stuff. But yeah. Shout out to Air Raid Mike. Yep. Shout out to Mike.
Air Raid Mike, we gotta catch up. Brian, we love you. Yes, but Air Raid Mike is the original. That's who you got to get to know, man. So that's but no, love both those guys again. Shout out to Brian again for last week, bringing in Kyle just so he could talk trash to them and then go beat Texas. Isn't that a little rude to invite a guest on and then go beat them?
Yeah,
but, that's how Brian rolls. So and I was waiting for this comment. The only person on the show to back you up, Brian, was Lady Alpha. So she wanted to let you know that she was the only one that had your back. So that was it. And Air Raid, we'll definitely have you on soon, man.
Oh yeah, definitely, Mike. Love you, man.
Hope you're doing all right.
Yep.
So I was I guess a mini vacation, but I was definitely watching that game. I mean, Oklahoma had their race last year, so that was great for them.
Right.
15 seconds, I'm sorry, left in the game when they scored the game-winning touchdown. But overall, if it wasn't for that block punt, it just seemed like Oklahoma was in control for a lot.
Yeah.
But it is a Red River rivalry. You expect crazy things to happen. But I was honestly impressed by that effort out there and that win. I mean, that's a huge win for them. You got to think the rest of the Big 12 is for the taking.
Yeah, huge win, and I think OU's defense surprised everybody and stepped up really, really well this game. Obviously, they gave up 49 last year, and I think coming into this game, we knew it will be an offensive battle, but OU got those takeaways early on. I think it was 2 interceptions, of course, off yours, and I think it was first pass may have been an interception. So it started off like by the time I blinked, I looked up and I was like, wait, I didn't even realize what happened. I didn't even see it. But
yeah. And weren't you shopping for handbags or something like that?
Wow, that's a low blow. It's a low blow. But shout out to OU for the victory. They now are in control of the Big 12. They're ranked number 5, I believe, in the nation. I have to take a look at their upcoming schedule, but you could only think that they would go ahead and win out and possibly face Texas again in the championship game. But hey, anything could happen in college football. So
Goal line was definitely up. This is one of those years, and we'll kind of go around the different conferences. But like if Oklahoma wins the first match and then Texas wins the rematch, you can make a case for both of them clearly need to be in the playoffs, especially if that's each team's only loss. But that's going to suck. It's just this is the last year with only 4 slots, and it's not going to be enough. Yeah,
but I think that's not just the Big 12, too. Hypothetically speaking, if you look at the Pac-12, let's just say Oregon loses to Washington or vice versa, and then they win out the rest of the games. You'll have the same situation. You could have the same situation in the SEC. If Bama wins out and beats Georgia in the SEC championship, Georgia has 1 loss, but Bama has 1 loss, but Bama's the SEC championship. So do you put both of them in? It's a nightmare scenario kind of for the committee, but I feel like over the next few weeks things will kind of play out, and some teams will kind of separate themselves from each other.
Yep. David says hello, and then he gives a question: how do you feel about Oklahoma in the SEC next year? Obviously, last year I would have answered this question differently, but I some commentators were actually talking about this, and you have to think right now, Oklahoma and Texas, right now as they stand, would be no worse than the second and third best teams in the SEC right now.
I agree.
I don't know as much about Oklahoma's recruiting, obviously, because Texas is the more high profile as far as quarterbacks. So I'm not sure who's following Gabriel in there, and one of my OU buddies will probably give us that. Yes. But as far as offense and coaching, and Oklahoma showing a pretty good defense, I feel like those two teams are as prepared as they're going to be. So I don't think there's going to be a huge drop off. And now, like us going to do a podcast against Oklahoma doesn't look as much fun. So I might.
It's still going to be fun and pretty exciting to be there. But no, I agree. And if both teams finish strong this year, maybe 1 or 2 losses here and there, then going into the SEC will look a lot smoother for them. Had it been last year, maybe with OU having a pretty rough season, we would have said, "Oh man, OU is going to have a rough start in the SEC." But one of the games to look at is obviously Alabama plays in Norman next year, which is the game we were just talking about. So that could be a pretty huge game. But
I'm laughing because the chat has been taken over by Oklahoma.
Yes. Hey, they were waiting for this. They were waiting for this.
Yes, they were like,
and they've earned the right to gloat and to comment. So keep going, OU guys. Congrats on your victory again. Y'all deserve it. So hey, talk.
Yep. We'll start with this one and we'll go back through the Oklahoma ones. Can Texas keep up with the recruiting since they will be SEC? Absolutely.
Yeah.
They're still Texas. I think it actually only gets better from this point. Plus, I've said this several times. If I was an offensive player, I would want to go play for a guy like Sark. You're going to have plenty of weapons, plenty of chances to show off. And then the fact that you get to play in the SEC against SEC teams is even better. So Texas' recruiting, I expect to only get better. So it's actually probably worse for the rest of the conference, honestly, than that.
Yeah.
So, give you your Oklahoma props out here. Lincoln Riley wouldn't have had that goal line stand. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to argue against that, especially considering he seems allergic to defense. OU was a better team. I'm honest, man. It felt like they were controlled the entire time. Until like a turnover, like block punt. I really felt like they were controlled the entire game. So agree with this one. Oklahoma better team that showed. They had in good hands with Venables. Yes, sir. It's interesting that the thoughts on Venables from last year to this year. Last year was kind of like, these are the people I would have rather had. And this year it's like, oh, yeah, good job. So, and this is the kind of stuff that I'm going to have to like to know. No, recruiting is great as far as quarterback. I think if they continue with a quarterback, all the other pieces kind of fall in place. So.
Yep, I agree. Just get some pieces to fall in around them and some weapons, tight ends, receivers, etc., and they'll be all right.
I disagree with this one, though. Sark won't be
Texas is already a huge school.
Yeah, Texas, it doesn't get much bigger than Texas in college football. Like if you're saying a bigger school, what are you saying? Like it's not Michigan or Ohio State.
You're not going to Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State. No, so that's pretty much. And Texas is like a big brand too. That's like Texas stands for a lot.
They have their own freaking network. So I think if you can win at Texas, especially if he makes it back into the playoffs, like no, he's not going anywhere. He left there for a great job, and I don't think he's going. So Sark and Brent will remain at schools. I don't know, maybe 5 years down the line they'll just trade spots. Who knows? Just to give themselves another challenge. But no, that was a great game. For those of you who weren't shopping in the middle of it, it was a great game to watch.
Man, we don't get to go out a lot, so we try to where we can.
I'm just messing with you. So the LSU Missouri game, I think, was at that same time.
Yeah, that was a weird one.
Yeah. So,
what do you make of LSU this year? Like, what's going on there?
I've never seen their defense be this bad and have a generational. Like Daniels has met in leaps and bounds. But I mean, what was his line in this game? He had 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, another 130 on the ground.
Yep.
He even got knocked out briefly and came back in the game. And there's this is the best news I've heard.
Awesome.
I hope he's not joking.
Huh? I know, right?
Are we going to be in like with the Oklahoma band or something though? Is there a catch to this? So, I've just never seen LSU's defense be this bad. The offense is definitely scary, but I'm happy that they're having to come to Tuscaloosa. But Daniels is, do you feel bad for him at all? Like it's just,
I kind of do, because coming into the season, some people pick LSU to be like the team to come out of the West. And early on in the season, when you saw Bama's struggles, you kind of looked at it and said, okay, LSU might be the team to beat. But when you look at their stats, not even paying attention to every game they play, but when you just look at the amount of points they're giving up on defense, you're kind of thinking, what's going on here? I mean, you've got the quarterback. Jay Daniels is not a bad quarterback, but defensively, you're just not used to seeing LSU give up this many points per game. And Missouri was undefeated, ranked number 21. It's still Missouri. They don't have the best offense in the land. You gave up 39 to them. You gave up, I think, 55 to Ole Miss, and Ole Miss doesn't have 54. I'm sorry, to Ole Miss. And Ole Miss doesn't have the best offense. So something's going on there as far as the defense is concerned.
Yeah. And it's your waste. Now, we should clarify this. LSU has only lost, one conference game? So
yeah, because they lost to Ole Miss, and then they lost to Florida State. That was a non-conference. Yeah.
So I guess if they still beat Alabama, I guess that's a 3-way tie between Ole Miss, depending on how – well, no, Ole Miss has to go to Georgia. So
Ole Miss is going to
yeah. But if LSU doesn't, all their goals are still ahead of them. So, I mean, they're the exact same team that they were last year, limping into the SEC championship game.
But if they made it to the SEC championship and they played Georgia with the way Georgia's offense is playing, that's going to be an ugly game.
It is going to be an ugly game because you're going to think a couple stops and they're done. And, LSU's almost putting themselves in a position where you have to score every single play. I've never seen LSU be this bad. So, what was this? Oh, definitely not joking. No catch. Great season. Oh, we're in.
Awesome.
We are in. I might just leave now, to be honest, and just sit out front.
Have fun.
in my Bama stuff. So
they didn't even announce the date for that game, have they?
I think the date, not the time, right? I thought we know the weekend, not the time, but I might be wrong. Yep. Getting back in your chat also, by the way, 204 is going to be one of the best in the history of OU football. We aren't done yet. Oh, yeah. And you got to think the moving to the SEC and that win yesterday, the win on Saturday, both helped out a lot there.
Yeah.
And then could Sark replace Saban in the future? I don't think he'd come back to Alabama if you're in Texas.
No.
Like I said, I don't see a school that Sark would leave for. If I was at Texas and we were successful, I don't see a school.
You've got a first and second round draft pick quarterback right now. He'll be there for another year. You got Arch Manning, so I think Quinn Ewers might be coming out this year, right? I'm sorry about that.
He might, yeah, he might.
This is actually his third year out of school. So yeah, then you got Arch Manning, who's supposed to be great. And of course, we don't know. We haven't seen much of him. So I think Sark is fine where he is.
Yeah. I agree with this. If we were going to LSU, I'd be scared. Now, I like that it's further along in the season, and I like that we have the bye week before them.
Yeah.
And that we're at home, those improve my chances. But yeah, if we had to go to LSU, I'd have zero confidence. But
yeah,
and I guess we haven't, Rodg, I guess it's time to go ahead and get into Alabama.
Yep.
my confidence level for Alabama is still always going to be like right here in the middle.
Right.
Like, I'm glad we're winning. We're never going to make any game easy. Like, we're determined every game will be like a one-score game or something. Right. But I mean, winning is winning, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be happy.
We're happy. My confidence level has risen a little bit. Jalen Milroe probably had the best game of his career this past Saturday in a hostile environment against, some people say, the best front seven we're going to play in the regular season with A&M. They had a pretty stout defense coming into this game. Of course, they gave up a few points to Miami, and we're not even going to get into Miami. That's a whole other tangent.
Somebody should get fired for what happened to Miami, but go ahead.
Yes. Milroe had a good game, threw for 321 yards, 3 touchdowns, an interception. Looked good. What I saw out of Saturday was when we got the ball into the second half, Tommy Rees was just drawing up pass plays. I could have sworn we threw the ball every down except for maybe one pass. And I felt like Tommy Rees was like, if it doesn't work now, it's just not going to work at all this year. So
I agree.
And I think that's what a lot of us were wanting to see out of Milroe was give him enough reps to where he gets confident passing the ball and he'll start passing more. Yeah. So that's what I'm kind of hoping to see going forward. He had a great game. The question now is, can he remain consistent? Can he have a good game? Obviously, we're playing Arkansas Saturday, so he should have a good game. But can he have a good game against Arkansas? Can he play a good game against Tennessee, LSU, so forth and so on? That's what we need to see. We need to see – I would like to see 300 plus passing yards each game if possible. If he keeps making these deep balls and throwing to Brett Burton and whoever the receivers are, Bond, Hale, Brooks, whatever the case may be, then he can have those games. And now, instead of the run opening up the pass, I guess the pass will kind of open up the run. Right. And Jalen didn't really have to run as much as he normally does either. So I don't know if the hamstring was bothering him or not, but obviously he had to scramble. But as far as the big breakout runs that he usually gets, I don't remember him doing too many of those. So
no. I mean, and it's hard to tell because he had like negative 50 yards rushing, but that's because they take away for sacks.
Right.
So it's hard to tell like what it was, but I don't remember him really taking off at all, you know. Yeah. And you do have to mention this because you mentioned 300 yards.
Yep.
The interception was still at like the worst possible time.
It was.
You know, to David saying Bama defense looking like the old Bama defense, they really, really pulled him out on that one. So they bailed him out on that one, getting the ball right back like 2 plays later. But those are the things he has to cut out. You know, I mean, if you're going to throw one of these interceptions, at least make it a bomb and have them intercepted like the 5 or something.
That's what I was saying. Just throw it downfield. If they catch that, then so be it. But otherwise, I don't know. But yes, he still has a few bad reads. And I think that kind of goes back to the term consistency that I was mentioning earlier. So we just got to see, maybe go a game without throwing an interception, get you that 300 plus yards, control the offense like you did this past Saturday. And I think Bama will be all right. Yeah. And I think Bama has a better chance of winning out. As far as the defense looking like the old defense, they are looking like the past 2 or 3 weeks, we've started to see glimpses of that old Bama defense and what we like. I think Caleb Downs is doing he's one of the best freshmen in the country, especially on the defensive end. Braswell looked good. Dallas Turner's looking good. Tim Smith's looking good. Defense is looking good. I'm happy. Excited about Saturday.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I think that was the biggest thing, especially after getting popped by Texas. You just wanted to see improvement in all areas and consistency. So, like, are we saying we're a top 10 team? Not at all. I like being ranked outside of it. I like the guys fighting for it. Right. And it's kind of like no matter where this season ends, man, I'll be proud of the guys if they keep continuing and moving on like this, you know?
Yep.
So, no, I like this much. But now it's going to be a heart attack every week. So
it is. I don't think Saturday will be a heart attack. I
don't either.
With the way Arkansas has been playing, I don't think this is going to be a nerve-wracking game. I think this should be pretty smooth. Now the Tennessee game, the LSU game, I'll be a little nervous about those because of what happened last year.
Yeah. So I was listening to an Arkansas podcast before this, and I just feel bad for that guy, man. He was just
Who, Pittman or the guy doing the podcast?
The guy doing the podcast. Okay. Just because he just sounds so dejected, and he's like, you know, we could be 3-3, possibly 4-2, but he's like 2-4. He's like, the offense is broken, and he just said,
"It is."
Like there was no hope in the podcast, so it's just kind of.
I mean, I don't know what I can't put my finger on. I'm not sure what's going on there. I've even heard rumors about Pittman being on the hot seat, which he probably is. You're 2-4, playing in the SEC. You don't know if things are ever going to get any better than what they are now. But no, I can't put my finger on Arkansas what the problem is.
I don't believe this at all because I don't even believe she's watched an Arkansas game all year. Like she's fully invested in KC.
Can't be.
And there's no way that she thinks
maybe Arkansas, maybe it's another sport. I don't know. It can't be the football game.
Yes. So yeah, I don't believe this until she actually does it herself. So yeah. That's just how I'm kidding. Yeah. I won't believe that at all. So without a bad player. Let me see what else you got. The game at Auburn might be the toughest. Oh, I believe that.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that one. Yeah, I think so. Simply for obvious reasons, and we're playing up there, and they're gonna want to do absolutely everything they can to kind of ruin our season. Yep. And if we continue to play the way we're playing, as long as we win that game, we're in the SEC championship. So Auburn is going to try to do whatever it takes. They're going to come out with all the stops. It's going to be Hugh Freeze's first year in the Iron Bowl, so he can't wait.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Rodg, on that one. So, and then you also got Air Raid. Mizzou beats Kentucky this week. For our picks on the game, you have to go to our YouTube channel and check out our college picks. But that I will say this: there was a disagreement over that game. 1 of 3 for the week. So, got to see who has who. What else you got in here? How long before? I need to look to see where he's at as far as the contract, because I know the buyout is coming down every year. But with the talent that they have, and what are we, a year or two removed from the best, class of all time? I think
last year was supposed to be like the best recruiting class ever, or whatever. Blah blah blah.
It's not a talent thing anymore. So it's purely results, and if you're not getting the results, that's on the coach. So
it's only
going to real quick. It's only going to get worse if Texas comes in here and does well in the SEC.
Yep.
So 2 years for Jimbo, this year, next year, and then he's gone.
I think this is his fifth year, and I don't, or maybe even 6th year. I'm sorry, but you have to look at what your standards are. I mean, obviously one of the things on his list was he wanted to beat Bama. You did that already. You beat Bama. Came close to doing it 2 years in a row, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But the next step is like, okay, let's try to win the SEC. Now you got Oklahoma and Texas coming in here next year. And to your point earlier, Oklahoma and Texas are probably better. They're better teams than A&M are now. So now A&M is just going to fall lower down that totem pole. And then eventually they're going to realize that, Jimbo, was it a good hire? Was it not a good hire? We could all debate that. But other than beating Bama, are they going to win the SEC West? Probably not. So
and that's the problem.
Obviously not this year.
Your biggest goal can't be beating one of your rivals. Your biggest goal needs to be better than that. And the years, to your point, Rodg, the year he beats Bama, he doesn't get anywhere close to that SEC championship.
Yep.
So that's it. I'm going to say the USC DC, which, by the way, I didn't even know who Alex Grinch was.
I didn't realize they actually had one. When I saw Grinch, I was thinking about the Grinch. But I was going to agree with you. I would say the USC DC because
definitely, because I think Oregon and Washington
50 points a game, and you're still like coming barely winning these games. You all know what the problem is. You have to find a better defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Caleb Williams out here balling his butt off.
Yeah,
and just to watch his team, he's it's similar with him. They have to almost score in every possession. So I'm going to say the USC DC, especially after games with Oregon and Washington. If they lose both of those, he'd be in trouble. Jimbo's buyout is 76 point. Yeah, Jimbo ain't getting fired anytime soon.
No,
I need a buyout like Rodg. If my buyout was,
can you imagine that? So you can't tell me
million.
You're going to pay me almost $77 million to leave.
I wish, Rodg. I would leave this show for $77 million. I'd be showing up in a robe. I'd be doing a podcast like this. What's up, Rodg?
I know. I'd go home and tell my wife, like, yeah, they fired me. But, yeah, we got $77 million. Your wife's going to be like, oh. So we're good.
I don't the coach's definition of getting fired is just different from the rest of the world's definition of getting fired.
You could actually take time off. You can do some commentating if you want to, and then just get another job if you wanted to.
If you wanted to, yeah.
If you want to,
I'm gonna tell you right now, if the buyout is $76 million, they need to be figuring out some blackmail, posting some dirty picture. Like they need to do something so they can fire him for cause. Yeah. Like I promise you, I would be drugging this man and getting him hung up on a DUI or something, because there ain't no way.
Jimbo would be like, it wasn't me and I wasn't there and I didn't do it. But if it's coming to this, then hey, I can admit it. Whatever. I'll lie for $77 million. Yeah, it was me. Whatever. Just give me my money.
No, I'm saying do all that, Rodg, so you can fire him and not pay him the $77 million. That's what I'm saying. They got to figure out. Prime time. No, I don't think. I don't think Prime would play in Texas.
I think Deion wants to stay at Colorado a few years, build that program up, get him, into some really, really good bowl games until he gets offered a bigger position. Now, I do think some big offers will come his way over time because people are going to see the primetime effect and what he did to Colorado. So, will it be A&M? I don't know. I don't think so, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't see him like really as a like a Texas guy or Texas A&M kind of guy as a coach. So
yeah.
Oh wow, the woman that gave Urban Meyer map dance. Yep, there you go.
We got to find her.
Yep, send her to Jimbo right now. Yep. I promise you, I'd be doing everything I could if I was A&M to get out from under that.
Yep.
So a game that was referenced in there, we kind of talked about. You at least have to mention it. And where is this at? Take a knee, Miami. This has to be one of the most embarrassing losses ever on both sides of the ball, though. First off, Miami was like 33 seconds left in the game.
Yep.
They take a knee, they win. They run a play, they fumble. Right. Then they let the team go. Georgia Tech go two plays and 75 yards. None of this makes any sense. And that's their first loss. And with the ACC, what I say every week when we do our college picks, the ACC is wide open. It's there for the taking. Maybe you're not as good as Florida State, but you're at least good enough than maybe the other teams. You got North Carolina this weekend. You win these games, you're in the ACC championship game, and then who knows what happens.
Yeah.
You can't lose a game like that.
Yeah. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't see it live, but I saw the replays and I watched over and over trying to figure out how you can even justify this, and you couldn't. Even running the ball.
Agree with you, Brian.
Why are you going to run the ball up the middle? If you're going to run the ball, just grab it and then just fall down or something. Don't go somewhere where there's a line of contact. But I mean, calling the play initially for a run anyway was foolish.
Agreed.
I can't figure it out at all, and I'm pretty sure we all know that Cristobal had a lot of questions and emails to answer. And could you imagine being Cristobal after that? Like they're gonna roast me on social media. They are just gonna tear me apart. So.
Yep. And you have, but what do you say? At first, it was kind of like, blah blah blah, and then later
you have to be mindful of what you're saying, because if you say something like I didn't realize the time, then people are gonna be like, how are you the head coach and you didn't realize that? So you can't say anything but just say I made a huge mistake. That's it.
I don't know why on this one, but I don't know the control that some of these guys have over stuff, to be honest. Like a pro quarterback, would do that. In the college level, I have no idea. So I mean, it's an excellent point. I just don't know. I mean, our quarter, we're not talking about it, but our quarterback decided to throw a pass at the situation. So
I was kind of okay with that though, because there was like 7 or 8 seconds left. I was like, if he downs it or just kneels it, then maybe they'll have a second. But what if he just runs out for 4 or 5 seconds and then just throws the ball in the air? I was perfectly fine.
No. I'm saying the pass that he threw, that one hop to the wide receiver.
Oh, my bad. We're talking about
No. The last one they did because he did that. If he had taken a knee there, we don't have to do that on the last play.
Yeah.
So that one. And there's Mr. Ricky, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Hopefully it's a stressless week going into the Arkansas game. So what else you got from this past weekend, Raj? We'll kind of mention USC, but I'm gonna say this about the USC and Arizona game. Arizona first overtime, they go second. They tie it up at 35.
Yeah,
I don't get why, because Washington did the same thing in the pros against Philly. If you're the underdog and you score a touchdown and you have a chance to go for 2 to win, you have to take that chance.
Right.
I don't know why Arizona would go for another overtime. And the stupid thing is, not dumb, excuse me, but the thing about it too is the next overtime they had to go for 2 anyway. Why not take your chances in the first one? Plus you're the second team to go, just go for the win there. Like their defense wasn't stopping, USC at the end of that. So I just don't get it. Washington, the same thing against Philly, and the coach is like, oh, well, we were gassed. Yeah, you go for it. If you're the underdog and you're on the road,
you always go for it. You literally have nothing to lose. So you lose the game, okay. But if you win, you pull off a huge upset on the road. So before we even talk about why they were even in overtime, last 3 games, USC gave up 28 points to an unranked Arizona State. They gave up 41 to an unranked Colorado, but let's give it to Colorado. Colorado has a pretty good offense. I'll give them that. And then they gave up 41 again to an unranked Arizona. And I think this goes back to our point earlier when you talk about the defensive coordinator. It's like, if you're Lincoln Riley, you got to have a talk with this guy and say, what exactly is going on in practice? Because we're not helping out the offense at all. And Caleb Williams is going to be gone after this year. And I don't know who who the next guy is coming in, but you can only assume that he's going to have the same situation going on.
Yep. I don't know if you have time, Ryan. I missed the part about the coach not understanding the overtime rule, so I didn't know that. But yes, the two first over. I don't even think that's a question. And it's kind of like, did the head coach overrule the OC? Did the OC ever push? Like, I don't get it, but you got to go through there. Like Rodg said, what do you have to lose? So
yeah.
We haven't addressed Notre Dame, but that's an excellent question. So we thought, what is it, Hartman, when he got to Notre Dame, I thought the offense would be much.
I think it's Hartwell.
Is it?
I don't know.
You better be right about this.
Yeah.
Notre Dame starting quarterback.
Sam Hartman, my bad.
I'll take that apology in writing.
You won't get it.
I honestly thought the offense would be much better. Yeah. I think the defense has been pretty spectacular, I guess, up until Louisville. But I don't know. I lost to Ohio State, they lost to Louisville. Now they're behind the 8 ball. I guess what USC's up next. I think it's just going downhill for them. Yeah. So Notre Dame is probably about who you thought they were, a 2 to 3 loss team. They'll get the hype because they're Notre Dame. They're not national title contenders. So I think they're just kind of I think they're going to start off every year, feels like, in that top tier of expectations. And I think they're going to end up in that middle tier every year. And I think that's who they are.
I feel like they have pretty much the same ceiling every year. And you pretty much described it. They start off ranked pretty high, showing good signs that they're going to play good football. And then they lose a few games throughout the season. If they don't, they make it to the playoff and they're going to lose in the playoff game. So that's just pretty much how I sum up Notre Dame.
Yep. And this was it. I think, and I don't know if wins and losses kind of build off each other, but losing the Ohio State game the way they did has to be deflating. Yeah. They keep that. They win that one. You're probably thinking about a top 5 team going into Louisville.
Yep.
But dropping the second game, I mean, they're pretty much, they're out of national title contention.
And those are the type of games that just kind of eat away at you. Knowing when you watch the film, you're like, man, if we had just done one thing differently, we would have won that game.
So he thought he could still kick an XP. Now, so these are the things that people like me don't remember because the overtime rules keep changing. But the coaches got to know that.
Yeah.
So that's about the USC game. And yep, Lincoln Riley. Oops, sorry, where are that? Lincoln Riley never win one.
I agree.
So, and Brian, I can't remember if we disagreed against Notre Dame and USC. So that's another one.
Ooh.
That's another one where you'll have to check out our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I want to say I picked Notre Dame, you picked USC, but
Rodg, you're not supposed to give it away. You're just supposed to tease them by saying, "Hey, we disagreed."
Okay.
Jeez. Yeah, USC, Notre Dame, Missouri, Kentucky, and NC State and Duke were our 3 disagreements.
Okay.
So there you go. I guess we could transition into a little NFL. Well, you did talk about Arkansas, Alabama this week. In our college football one on YouTube, we do cover Oregon, Washington as well, and USC, Notre Dame. Oregon, Washington, I'm looking forward to that game.
I'm looking forward to that game. We don't talk too highly about Pac-12 games on here, but or in general. But yeah, that's going to be a heck of. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
Moment of silence for the Pac-12. May they rest in peace.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So this is going to separate one of them. I know who I picked. I know who you picked. Again, check out our YouTube channel to look at our picks. But yeah, that's going to be the best game of the week.
Yep, definitely. How do you feel about us playing at 11?
I normally don't like it. I'm okay with like the 2:30 games or the night games, but 11 is just a weird time. But again, we're hosting Arkansas, and years past, maybe this would have been an exciting game, but I feel like both teams are trending in opposite directions, and it's just not going to be a super entertaining game. Obviously, I think we'll be happy because I think we're going to win pretty big. I think the line is Alabama by what, 21? I think
19.5 is the last thing I saw, but it's going to fluctuate.
I can see us winning by 3 touchdowns with just the way that Arkansas has been playing. And I still don't know what's going on with KJ Jefferson. They can't seem – they're not really running the ball well. They're not passing well.
So offensively, on the podcast, the guy was just complaining about their line. He said their line is terrible. So
is it that bad?
He said it multiple times. I haven't watched many Arkansas games, so I just took his word for it. He was pretty honest. Also, will you be flipping over to A&M at Tennessee instead of watching our game?
Instead of watching our game? No. Yeah. Of course not. No.
So not that far, right? Not that far. No. So
I will tune into that game a little bit because I want to see Tennessee play a little more. I haven't paid too much attention to them. So I'll tune in just to that, but I ain't gonna watch the whole game.
Right. So I did that. Notre Dame running back will run for 200. And Ricky said this about the Oregon and Washington. I think Oregon will get like 2 stops before Washington gets stopped. So I think that's the extent of the defense. But that should be a fun game. And I'm one of those guys who likes the 40-40 game. So
I think if Penix Jr. isn't the Heisman frontrunner, then he will be after this game, as long as he has a good game.
Yeah, I agree. Arkansas. So Rick, to this point, this is why I listened to the Arkansas podcast today, just to kind of get a feel of them and how hard they were going to play us. And that guy had given up, and it was Monday when I was listening to him. So I'm still nervous just because of the way we work. There's no way I would take Alabama minus 19.5, but I like our chances in that game. Especially
I'm taking Alabama by 3 touchdowns. I am. I think Milroe's going to have another great game, and I think we're going to run the ball pretty well too. So.
Okay, I hear you, Rodg. I hear you. All right, what else we got up on tap? I guess we can move into a little NFL. If you want to talk about the NFL after your crushing defeat in fantasy football by a mere.
Yeah. You got me.
Rodg, I got a game for you. You want to start off with before we kind of go into the weeks on air rates. The Oklahoma guys are telling us Bama will cover, and they got 4 touchdowns. So, as usual on the show, people are agreeing with Rodg.
Yes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I appreciate y'all.
All right, Rodg, I got a little game for you.
Let's do it.
Confidence meter. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to give you a quarterback.
Okay.
You're going to give me his ranking on a scale of 1 to 5.
Okay.
5 being this is the guy, and I think one day he's going to win us a Super Bowl. 3 being like, he's good. We'll probably never get over the top, but it's hard to just get rid of him.
Okay.
1 being
no chance.
We're drafting Caleb Williams at the end of this year.
Gotcha.
And 0 being let's just cut the guy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. You ready? Mac Jones.
It's a 1. And keep in mind, I you know what? I'm gonna give him a 2 since I'm a Bama fan. He came from Bama.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's not just on the field. I feel like off the field, he's lost a lot of the respect and the love from some of his teammates too, and the coaches. And things have just been going downhill. They got murdered by the Orleans Saints the other day. Mac Jones he might not be that guy. And he started off pretty decent this year, statistically speaking. He started off pretty decent, but I just don't think he's the guy in New England, and they'll be looking.
He's also with you on a 2. So yeah. And I see the other NFL comments. I'll get back to those too as well. Yeah, I think the problem with Mac Jones is like at Alabama, it was a perfect system and everything has to go right for him. And he knows where the ball should go. And
not to mention you had receivers, you had NFL receivers all over the field. So he was covered there.
Yep. Justin Fields.
Will he win them a Super Bowl? No. I say this, but he did have a good showing the other day. It was a Thursday Night Football against Washington. I think they won 40. Was it 40-20?
Yeah.
And we both picked that game wrong. So I'll say 3. I don't think he's going to win them a Super Bowl, but I've been speaking about highly on Fields since he's been drafted. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. You just got to get him some help. Get Fields some help, and I think he'll be okay. And I think he and with the DJ Moore showed out this past Thursday. So
I'm laughing at certain people that I
knew Kirk Cousins was coming.
Have certain people that they really like. Yeah, well, he wasn't next, but I'll give it to you. We'll go with Kirk Cousins. And here's the chat that people might be missing. Needs to trade Kirk Cousins now and tank for Caleb.
Yeah.
Ricky is a big Kirk guy. Said no Kirk slander. He said that's no slander. I like Kirk. Here's what you guys got to understand about Ricky. Ricky will pick guys that he likes.
Yeah.
And will tell you about them. And he's like, I like Kirk Cousins. But if I say, hey, Ricky, will Kirk ever win you a Super Bowl? He'd be like, oh, no.
Yeah.
But I like Kirk.
I spoke highly on Kirk. Was it after week 2 when we gave him the top 5
you had him as a top 5 quarterback. Yeah.
But now I think I got him at a 2. And then with Justin Jefferson being out for the next few weeks, I think it's only going to get worse for him. He'll have Jordan Addison, but his go-to guy is not going to be there. And it's just going to get rough for Kirk Cousins in Minnesota.
And Reg gives him a 3. They talk about both system quarterbacks, both Kirk and Mac.
Yeah.
All right, Kyler Murray.
He hasn't played this year.
I know, but you have a chance. Like, what are you going to do at the end of this year?
No, it's not it. It didn't work out. Cliff Kingsbury wanted him, had him. Kingsbury's now the OC at USC.
Reg give him a 0.
It didn't work. It didn't work. And I had no problems with Kyler Murray. I liked him when he was at OU, but it just didn't work in the league.
Yeah. All right. So you're giving Kirk a 1?
Kyler a 1.
Yep. Kyler who?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically it. Kenny Pickett.
Oh, this is a good one. Him and George Pickens, that's a nice little combo. And as long as the Steelers defense can continue to get better and better, and same with the O-line, I can see them winning some playoff games down the road. So I'm going to give Kenny Pickett a 3.5, maybe even close to a 4. I like Kenny Pickett.
Oh,
I like Kenny Pickett. I think he's a good quarterback, and just give him some more time, a few more years, and they'll be okay.
Gotcha. All right, and there's a package. Kyler and Hollywood send them somewhere to tank for Caleb. So.
Oh. I gave Tua a 5.
Give the Steelers a 2. Yeah, okay, thanks. You gonna break the scale for him?
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Probably a 2.5. Not a bad quarterback, but as far as that, because I'm basing this off the scale, you're saying 5 is winning a Super Bowl. They're not winning a Super Bowl there.
Not necessarily winning there, but can you win one with Deshaun Watson?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd say I'll bump it up to a 3. I'll bump it up to a 3.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I
gave Tua a 5. Okay.
So this one will bring up the good stuff.
All right.
Russell Wilson.
Everybody in the comments knew this one was coming. That's a 0.
I gotta go back and find this stuff. So
the Russell Wilson experiment was an absolute. Yeah, that was an absolute failure. It did not work. Sean Payton is wondering why he came back to coaching. They stink. The Broncos stink. Sorry, it just did not work. It's a 0. Bye, Russell Wilson. Go back to see. You got another baby coming. Congratulations there. Take some time off. I don't know. It just didn't.
That's funny. Here goes it. Sorry, that's what I'm looking for. Let Russ go. Trade Judy. Send some trap. I mean,
trade everybody.
Oh,
they need to keep. I think they should keep Patrick Surtain too. He's not a bad defender, but
yeah.
Anyway.
And then, this will release him. Russ needs to go, and Reggie has different motivation for keeping him on the team.
Yeah. Maybe if she starts winning more games,
man.
Maybe they start winning.
It's over. It's just over. So. What else we got? So that was Daniel Jones.
That dude is taking a beating these past 2 weeks. Now he's got the neck injury. I think he just needs to call it quits for the rest of the season. Sit out. If I'm Saquon Barkley, I know he had an ankle sprain or whatever. I'm sitting here like, the ankle sprain's a little worse than I thought. I'm gonna sit out a couple more games because it ain't working. Sorry. Now, keep in mind, they had a good season, made it to the playoffs last year. I give them that. But this year, just not working.
These guys are like just ruthless with these quarterbacks. Take a lot of time.
Yeah. And it's funny, when you saw him during the Seattle game, the announcers kept saying the same thing. Daniel Jones is tough. Oh, he's such a tough quarterback. That's not a compliment. That just means you're taking a lot of hits. That's all it's saying. That's a polite way of saying he can get hit and just keep on going.
Yeah. But are you reading the Russ slander, people?
Yeah, Russ. Sorry, I'm sure Russ is a nice guy, but his play this year has been putrid.
Horrid. All right. We win. We got 2 more, Rodg.
All right.
I'm enjoying this.
Yes, I am too.
Desmond Ridder.
There's potential there. You get him some more weapons, some more receivers. There's a little potential. I'll say 2.5 because he's with the Falcons and they're not going to make it to the Super Bowl, but there's a little potential there. I'll give it to him.
Okay. And one of the most polarizing people.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Dak Prescott.
I really like Dak. I think Dak's a good leader, good guy.
You don't even sound like you believe whatever you're about to tell me.
I'm going to go with a 2. If you saw what happened with him when he played the 3 interceptions with San Francisco, I just don't think he's going to be the guy to lead Dallas to the Super Bowl. So it's unfortunate.
So what'd you give him, a 2?
2.
So, all right, let's get the rest of the quarterback comments, and then we'll talk about that game. So Ridder potential, yep. He's never lost a game in college or NFL at home. That's interesting.
I didn't know that.
Dak is Mac Jones. Dak's a little more mobile. I'll give him like a Mac Jones who can move. So Prescott needs to change the scenery. Professional second string. Yeah, that's what some of these guys really should be. People are kind of like your Ridder thing though, Rodg. So This had to be one of my favorites. Sierra is tougher than Daniel Jones.
Oh wow! I've never heard that confused.
One before. He really does. Like why they decided to give him.
If you got hit that many times, you'd be confused too.
Yep. And then 63 other quarterbacks over Daniel Jones. So he got paid. So I missed this one by the way. Air Raid is like Sean Payton needs to go to. Russ needs to go. He said just release Russ.
They just want him to release the whole team, sell the team.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I think what is the other one I missed? Package Kyler in Hollywood, send him somewhere tank for Caleb. That would be interesting. And then I think Brian repped his Jaguars and Ricky repped Philly. So Did you watch the San Francisco and Dallas game?
I did.
Or the San Francisco game, I guess.
I watched the entire game. We were here all watching it at the house, and it was pretty ugly. Yeah. Pretty ugly. San Francisco just looked like the more dominant team on both sides of the ball. And they are. Brock Purdy looks so smooth, so accurate. My boy George Kittle.
So fresh and so clean?
So fresh and so clean. George Kittle obviously showed out, gave me some good fantasy points, even though we lost. But I don't know what to say. Dak just looked like Dak. So
Dak is Tony Romo, so should he be in a booth pretty soon?
San Francisco looked like they're ready for the Super Bowl, and I think they are. So I think they have a really good chance to make it.
Yeah. Where do you think Dallas goes from here? Like, how much do you actually take from a loss like this?
I think they still have a good chance to make the playoffs, if that's what you're kind of asking me. But if they were to face San Francisco again, I don't see it being another blowout, but I just don't see them matching up with San Francisco at all. And I think San Francisco easily wins the next game. So yeah.
Technically, Brock Purdy has lost the football game that he started. And finished, if you want to get technical. So,
but can you imagine being the last pick in the draft though, and you're just like shining everybody? Just that's got to be a pretty good feeling.
Yeah, but I also think Brock Purdy on New England right now wouldn't be Brock Purdy.
Right.
I think he also got drafted to a good.
You got Debo, you got Brandon Ayuk, you've got Kittle. You've got Christian McCaffrey. You've got Juice, the fullback, number 44. I cannot pronounce his last name. Juice, whatever his last name.
Yeah. But I'll say this: some of the throws he made against Dallas were
pretty
nice. Good. Like he was like, "I see you're over here, but I think you're gonna end up here, so I'm gonna put it in this spot. You go over and get it." So they put together a great team. So
I agree.
Yeah, this is it. He made a lot of those throws just look like I know what I'm doing. I got this.
Yeah.
So, I miss the Tebow era was more successful than the Russ era. Yeah. Yes. Could Daniel Jones be successful in San Fran? I just don't feel like he could. I feel like his toughness and his legs get more.
His job would be a lot easier.
Yeah. So this was an interesting one because Wright, what's the guy's name? Wright made this exact same point.
Nick Wright
on his show. Yeah, Nick Wright made his exact same point. So
by the way, Nick Wright is a huge LeBron fan. Just wanted to throw that in there.
Oh, if David's still around, you're about to hear it. So but yeah, he did. So that was an interesting point because it was funny. He said, but he's also not a big Purdy guy. So either, but he's down on Mac Jones. But he said if they traded, Mac Jones would be okay there. So,
yeah.
There's something that we're forgetting, and it's pretty late in the show. But let's hear Rodg's top 5 list.
Oh yes, I have this. I'm ready.
Rodg's top 5 favorite NFL players right now.
Not ever. Right now. So number 1, I bet you can't guess who 1 is.
Let's see.
Tua. You're right. Okay. Tua. I got Tua at number 1. He's leading the league in passing yards. I think he's like number 2 or number 3 in QBR.
Just don't tell me Kirk Cousins is the number 2.
Kirk Cousins not on the list. He didn't make the list. Okay. Number 2, I got Tyreek Hill, leads the league in receiving yards. One of the fastest guys in the league, if not the fastest. Of course,
is Tyreek Hill faster than you though?
No, absolutely not. I run like a 2-second 40, which is nobody has ever seen, but I can do it. Number 3, I like Jalen Hurts. Eagles are still undefeated. Played some pretty close games. He looked pretty solid this past week, though. Happy for Jalen, and he was with team. I did pick the Eagles to go to the.
You guys are ruthless in the comments.
Church? What? Hey, oh my gosh!
I'll post them. I'll post them in a second.
Oh, they're still talking about Daniel Jones. Wow, they're roasting him. If Daniel Jones listens to this show, man, he's probably like pouting somewhere. But
yeah, well, I thought you said he was tough.
Oh, he is tough based on what the announcers say.
Right,
Number 4 on the list, I got Micah Parsons. I still think he's one of the best defensive players in the league.
Yeah. One of your favorites?
I like Micah Parsons.
He plays That's for the first Cowboys, person that you picked wasn't a Dolphin or a Alabama guy.
Yeah, I like Micah Parsons. Number 5, I do like Justin Jefferson. I'm not gonna lie, I like Justin Jefferson. I like his swag. I think he's one of the better receivers in the league. And unfortunately, we're doing this list on the same day we find out he's gonna be out for like another month or something like that.
Of course. All right, let's answer a real question and then we'll get to the Daniel Jones roast.
All right. What do we think about CJ?
I like CJ Stroud.
I like CJ Stroud.
At where was he? Ohio State?
Yeah, he's at Houston now.
I guess that's why she's asked that question.
I think he's doing a great job in Houston with the weapons that he does, the few weapons that he does have. I think he's showing a lot of potential, and he's gonna have a great career.
Yeah, I do too as well.
I would say
especially as a rookie quarterback. I never like rookie quarterbacks having to play. You usually don't have the talent level that you have, other places to be successful. He's playing well. The defense is feisty over there. I think it's a great pick for them.
Yeah.
And no, I think he's going to do well. Going back to college, I wish he had upset Georgia that year. And I think if they had let him call a couple plays, they actually would have. But no, CJ Stroud definitely
he's solid. Yep,
is definitely solid. So where
they are destroying Daniel Jones.
Yes, we got to get to that. So his list: QB from KC, Ty Hill, Jalen Hurts, Pollard, and anybody. So
anybody else? Yeah.
I might put Devontae Smith on there just because I'm partial.
I like Devontae.
Maybe not as far as that. So, hope he doesn't turn into a late career Russell Wilson. I hope so too. But I feel like if he stays at Houston for a while and they keep building, I think he's going to be okay there. So, all right. Before we get into the questions, this is just rough. Daniel Jones will be better in the XFL is where it started. It seemed innocent enough.
Oh my goodness.
Or the CFL, USFL.
Air raid put fan control football, indoor football.
Indoor football.
Oh my goodness. They are roasting
all-time QB. And I'll get the last one. Fan controlled football QB. And then what was the last one we got to? Oh,
Daniel Jones.
And then the one they declared the Women's Football Association QB of the year.
Oh wow. Wow, Brian.
So that was just you guys are just I mean, I hope Daniel Jones never listens to this show.
Yeah.
Or even we should have Mr. U chime in somewhere what he thinks about Daniel Jones.
Mr. U would be like this the whole time.
Yeah. Daniel Jones to the Birmingham Stallions. Would they take him right now though?
Probably not.
No. And Ricky, I only know this because he's on my fantasy football team. So yes, I agree. Nico Collins has been a good target so far.
And the Stallions won back-to-back championships. They don't need Daniel Jones.
All right. You ready?
Let's do it.
We're going to jump into it. All right. So this is a question I prepped you for earlier.
Yes.
So you have to have actors
to
play certain teams. Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia, Oklahoma, and Texas.
Yep.
And I threw in LSU late, so I don't know if you have somebody for LSU or not.
I couldn't think of one for LSU.
So I think he'd be good with the guy that was on Waterboy. Should play the guy.
I was thinking that was the one that came to mind, but I didn't want to be too disrespectful.
All right. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
For Alabama, I got Tom Hanks simply because Forrest
Gump.
He was Forrest Gump. He was right there. For Auburn, I got Liam Hemsworth. For those that don't know who Liam Hemsworth is, he's the brother of Chris Hemsworth who plays Thor. Liam is the brother that people aren't too familiar with, and he'll never get to shine like his big brother. I thought that was a perfect pick, Liam Hemsworth. For Georgia, I got Timothée Chalamet. Timothée Chalamet is the poppin' guy. He's popular right now. He's in all the big movies. He's in Dune. He's in Dune Part 2. He's in Wonka at the end of the year. He is the cool, popular guy right now. I think he was dating Kylie Jenner at one time. He is what's cool right now. For Tennessee, I got Johnny Knoxville. Every once in a while, he'll do something that you might be proud of, but for the most part, he's going to do some real crazy, stupid stuff. For Oklahoma, I got Ethan Hawke. Pretty good, pretty popular early 2000s. As of late, I mean, he was in Moon Knight on Disney+. I think he was in the Black Phone. Done a few things here that are very popular, but his big moments were in the early 2000s. OU won it all in 2000. Ethan Hawke was in Training Day 2001. And for Texas, I think we can all agree on Texas. It's got to be all right. It's got to be. Matthew McConaughey. It's got to be Matthew McConaughey.
I like it.
Yep.
And was this Helmsworth? He was most famous for marrying Miley Cyrus.
Yes. No. Okay. Well, yes, he was. Yes, he was, because it was somebody else. But yeah, he was famous for that.
That shows how.
And his big movies were the Hunger Games movies.
Okay.
So.
All right, you ready for a little work, play, live?
Awesome.
All right, I got a couple rounds over for you. We're going quarterbacks, so I went to different divisions to get them. So I'm giving you first Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson.
I'm not hanging out with Deshaun Watson. So Deshaun Watson, I guess he can be my neighbor. That's about it. Just say, hey, Deshaun, we're cool. You can't come over to the barbecue, but we're cool. You know, we know you get down. We get at that. I'm hanging out with. I'm gonna work with. You said Mac Jones, right?
No, Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow.
I'll work with Joe Burrow. I think Joe will be like, if I need help at work, I feel like Joe's a good guy to go to and mentor. He'll make it smooth, calm, and relaxing, and just have fun and help me get the job done. And I'm hanging out with Lamar. Him, Odell, some of the other guys from the Ravens can go hang out.
All right. Let's see. What time we at? I'll give you. You might like this one. Auburn, LSU, Tennessee.
Work, play, live?
Yeah.
I'll work with Auburn. That means I only have to be around them because I have to be around them. This is a tough one. I'll hang out with LSU. I think we can have a good time with Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
And I guess Tennessee. That means Tennessee's my neighbor. Tennessee will be my neighbor, but I will report. Keyword being report everything bad that they do to the HOA. If I see one of their grass blades too long, I'm taking a picture of that one specific grass blade and I'm letting the HOA know because I'm snitching.
Wow.
Yep.
Rodg. We'll end on, how about this one? Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Justin Herbert. Russell Wilson.
Yeah. I'm hanging out with Patrick Mahomes. I think he's got a lot going on, a lot of positive things that he would be fun guy to be around. I'm gonna work with Justin Herbert. He seems like really, really reserved, just might not the most be exciting person. And then I want Russell Wilson to be my neighbor so that I can see Sierra a lot more. I'd be looking out the blind. I'd be looking out the blinds and like.
And Reginald Reg was on the same page as what you're thinking right there, and this is why they would pick with that. So, and you got another work with Deshaun, play with Joe, live next to the bar. So
I'd be like this. I'm like, oh, Sierra's going to check the mail. Oh, and then when she looks over,
Well, but if you hang out with Deshaun Watson, you're guaranteed to be behind.
Yeah, I'm not hanging out with Deshaun.
So, and this was to your other question.
Which one? Oh, so Denzel would be.
I guess that would be Alabama.
Alabama, I guess. Okay.
You got Alabama. What did I give it to you in order? Auburn, Tennessee, Georgia, and then pick them for Oklahoma and Texas.
Yeah.
So.
All right.
And Red said, "Well, I couldn't post the exact one because of the wording, but work with with Joe Burrow.
Joe Burrow, yeah.
Live with Lamar, and where did Watson go to get this crook out of my neck?" All right, last question.
Yeah.
Jalen Milroe takes Alabama to the national championship game against Oregon.
All right.
We win every game by exactly 3 points, including Georgia and the SEC championship game. Okay. Every game ends with a Will Reichard field goal to win it. Okay. You're up against Oregon. Somebody comes to you and says, hey, you've got 3 weeks before the national championship game. You can trade Milroe for any quarterback from any college team, or you can ride it out in the national championship game. What do you do?
I'm gonna ride it out. If he did whatever it takes to get us there, I'm gonna ride out with him, and I'm gonna trust him, his arm, and his legs to win us the national championship.
So no Penix.
Nope.
No Caleb.
No, because then they'll have to learn the system. I don't know how much time they're gonna have to learn the system.
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
I'm still gonna ride it out with Milroe.
No Drake May.
I'm gonna ride it out with Milroe.
No, whoever is quarterbacking at Auburn these days.
I don't know. It's between 2 or 3 guys, I think. So I'm definitely not taking them.
Red's giving up for him for Shedeur.
And it's not a bad pick. I think Shedor's a better quarterback, to be honest. Milroe. We've got to see more consistency out of Milroe. That's what I got to see until I put him up there with some of these other guys.
Okay.
Yep.
Ricky's with you on that.
Yep.
Even though Red's tripped. And Air Raid Mike, who we definitely will get on here.
Appreciate it, Mike.
So what's up? So,
yep.
Rodg, appreciate the show. I appreciate you still showing up after that crushing defeat.
I'll bounce back. I might see you in the playoffs or something.
Yeah. So for the Herb and Rodg podcast, please check out our YouTube channel. We've got Alabama versus the World coming up. We've got our college picks and our NFL picks will be up soon as well. We appreciate it. Love the comments, man. You guys helped make
appreciate
the show,
it, y'all.
So appreciate that for sure.
Excuse me.
Rodg, you're amazing, man. I love you.
You are too. I love you, Herb.
And I will actually be in Texas next week. So we'll do the show coming up. You got Wheels, man. I'll take my system as tally up.
Yep.
We're gonna end the Milroe comments on that one right there. Appreciate it from the Alabama love. Guys, girls, ladies, everybody, appreciate you.
Holla.
Have a great night. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.